Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Timbuktu Campaign. Last time, under the Ataconship of Labadeado and his son, we saw slow and steady expansion for the Republic further into our home region of Ghana, as well as further south into the region of Jene. We also secured a vassal, the tribe of Nyata, who we left alive as they are Bedaic, our own religion, and they're in our same culture group, although they are Sononike instead of Bozo, as having a vassal over here as we continue expanding into the Rugen religious area, although much of it is still Sononike, so same culture group, would be quite handy as they can actually convert the land for us and help us limit our AE as we feed them land instead of taking land directly. Now, we don't exactly have lots of problems with AE so far, but AE is often quite difficult to lose, similar to Tyranny, so anything I can do preemptively to set myself up for success probably going to be good. Although further expansion into the west is going to be delayed until we have claims to work with. So for now, Nyata will just be here on our border, preparing to be who we feed further western land. Now, we also, at the end of last episode, saw the election of the new pair of Atacons. Let's look at them now. We have the Ataconship of Senpoko and Kondolon, of course these being Senpoko Tilabeli, known as the Shield, and Kondolon Tilabeli. Our Tilabeli Ascension plan from last episode has resulted in this pair of Tilabeli characters, our first female Atacon, and in fact our first female Koa Atacon, coming in together, not a Y chromosome in sight, bringing some pretty solid stats as well. We're looking at 8694, with 8, 6, and 9 coming from Senpoko, and the 4 coming from Kondolon, although of course, as we've seen before, these interface tooltips are glitched, and they always say that they're coming from the Ko-Atacon, but we know the truth. We have checked the sources, and we know what's going on. Now, with the 8 Marshal coming from Senpoko, we're looking at plus 8% manpower recovery speed, and plus 8% army morale recovery. The 6 Finesse is going to result in minus 6% build cost, as well as plus 12% national commerce income. Pretty good economic modifiers to be sure. And by the way, I'm noticing a rather alarming income being displayed for us for this month. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. We also have 9 charisma coming from Senpoko with plus 0.180 claim fabrication speed from that and minus 0.09 monthly tyranny. Pretty good, especially given that we have allowed tyranny to fester quite a bit. Democrats are not going to like that, and as you can possibly notice if you are looking carefully, we have some Senate support problems, and it's in part because of the final sort of collapse of the oligarchic hegemony that we've had for a number of decades, and the quick ascent of the Trads with their character, Senpoko being the Banatacon. Incidentally, Kondolon is an oligarch, but we'll talk a bit more about the party stuff in a moment. Finally, in terms of the attribute modifiers, for Zeal, and this is actually coming from Kondolon, which means minus 0.04 monthly war exhaustion, we're currently at 0, and plus 0.04 monthly stab change. We're currently at 68 stability, so pretty good, with a slight negative trend, although with stability this high, that is to be expected. And this is with Divine Sacrifices going right now. Incidentally, let me check and see. Our current Divine Sacrifices should be ending. It says May 1st, but what that really means is the month of May, from my recollection. So we're going to be looking at a June 1st, 167 Divine Sacrifices reapplication, which means I need to keep in mind how much PI I'll need for that, as I'm trying to very slowly and steadily work my way through the Matter of Ghana mission, which at this point is going to be held up mostly by doing the city foundations. I've got plenty of money, but I need the PI for it. And I believe we need, let me actually check and see how much PI I need. I need 50 PI, that's what I thought I needed, but 200 gold at this point is not a problem, which is great to say. Now, in terms of our characters, because again, we'll talk about the factions a bit more in a moment, because that's going to be, as usual for these episodes in this series, the first hour of the video is probably going to be faction micro, but to quickly hold that off for just a bit longer before we delve into that, Senpoko Tilabeli, known as the Shield, is coming in with a couple of traits. She is rash. Choices become a lot less complicated. One rushes blindly past them. Characters with this trait are more likely to engage in pit fighting, so that is reducing her finesse by 1, and then Great Wonder Construction Prestige is reduced for what that's worth. Not going to matter in her reign. I'm not planning to build or especially complete a Great Wonder in the next 5 years. I don't know how that'd even be possible. It's probably not. And the bony conviction doesn't matter because we're not playing as Rome. The effect if ruler, national citizen happiness, -4%. That is pretty painful. That's going to be affecting my economy, my manpower, and my research. Not great. So overall, a pretty bad trait. She's also guileless. It's worrying when even the sheep can pull wool over one's eyes. Monthly corruption, -0.10. That's actually pretty good, so we can engage in a bit more corrupt behavior with her. She has a max of -0.10. She actually has free hands at the moment, which I'm going to revoke because as the ruler, she doesn't benefit from free hands and only experiences a downside, although it wouldn't have mattered because she has so many good corruption reducing traits that she was still in -0.10 with free hands, so now she's -0.30. We can safely give her corruption and she can get rid of it pretty quickly, which is good to think about for the next 5-year period. -2 finesse, not great. So she actually would have had a really strong 9 finesse before I even look at the other traits. So pretty good stuff without these traits. -1% holdings income for what that's worth. And then the relevant part here is positive monthly traditionalist conviction. She is also secure, 1 extra charisma. That's great. And then the only other relevant part is +0.15 monthly traditionalist conviction. She is in the trad faction, so these traditionalist modifiers are not a surprise. And as the ruler, generals are +5 on loyalty, so that's pretty good. If Senpoku Telebele, the shield had feathers, not even a divine thunderbolt could ruffle them. Finally, she is honest, another -0.05 monthly corruption, and +0.05 monthly democrat conviction. And as the ruler, 3% increased national tribesman output. Pretty handy given that we do have a number of tribesmen. Not a ton, but we do have most of them slaves. Well, we have a plurality of slaves, not a majority, but we do have a lot of slaves. But we do have some tribesmen as well. They're actually one of our more, they're I think our 3rd largest population type after freemen. Slaves is first, so citizens and nobles are the least common. Not too surprising in the game. Get back over to her. So even the thought of deception is enough to confuse Senpoku. She will never accept a bribe, but I will go ahead and put her on a scheme influence. She has plenty of popularity to work with, and I want to get the PI boost going. This is going to change once I change my government in a moment, but for now, that is good to do. Now, her spouse is actually Wagwe Buanu, who is a character whose name I recognize. I don't remember what I used him for, but I think I'm familiar with him from somewhere. And then Igumu Buanu is actually her son, so interestingly, even though I have equal gender laws going, because she's married to a Buanu, who's another noble family, her children are actually Buanu children, so it's sort of like we're in a it wasn't a matrilineal marriage, basically, where her children are actually Buanu children and not Telebele children. Given how many Telebeles there are, I guess that's fine, but kind of an interesting detail. I guess that makes sense that even in an equal gender rule playthrough like this, or campaign like this, there'd still be an assumption of patrilineal succession. We're not playing as a monarchy, so it doesn't really matter too much, but it's an interesting thing to note. And she appears to actually have twin children, Iguamu and Nyambe, so that's interesting. A trad and an oligarch, much like her and her co-Atacon. She's also rivaled to Aisha Campeore, who has a very Italian-sounding name, oddly enough, but she is I believe a minor character. She actually also had twins, so you have cursed null family names. Very interesting. Okay, getting bogged down in nonsense. We've got so much to cover. Let's lock in here. So, Senpoku's co-Atacon is Kondulon Telebele. Oh my gosh, look at these traits. 1, 2, 8, 4, and she's got a lot of traits. She is ambitious, whereas some view the ladder to the top as a challenge. Kondulon prefers to see it as firewood, more likely to murder her way to the top. In terms of the modifiers, +1 to all stats, +25% cohort loyalty gain chance on her, +20 prominence, +10% increased Senate influence, probably why she was probably why she was a co-Atacon candidate, despite not actually being super impressive power base wise, but either way. Extra attractions air, for what that's worth, that also contributed, I'm sure. Plus 0.10% monthly statesmanship. And then the Great Wonder stuff is not relevant. And she has oligarchic conviction plus 0.05 and -5 loyalty. That actually might be relevant, as her loyalty, although fairly good, may be a little dubious, as the Telebeles may or may not remain grateful. I don't know if I really want to upset my Telebele strategy. As you've seen over the course of the campaign, I've attempted multiple strategies to try to wrangle this game's politics under control with the Democrats. And as you saw a moment ago, and I don't want to get bogged down and talk about the politics quite yet, but the Democrats are not in a strong position, so their approval may not actually be as... Oh my gosh. Oh boy, okay, so they think that a lot of families are grateful, so clearly something is weird with my... I'll have to redo all the offices to fix this, because, yeah, Democrats think that I have a ton of grateful families, which I don't think is true, but we will come back to that later. Alright, she is also unnoticeable, which reduces her prominence by 30, reduces her attraction to 0 by 2, and the Great Winter Construction modifier is not relevant right now. As a governor, she'd have minus 10% province commerce. When Condolan speaks, who is Condolan anyways? She is also abrasive, 1 extra max rival, and she currently is rivaling Bugora Moko, the Tribune of the Treasury. Interesting pick. Incidentally, she's actually married to Sagiri Suwadi, who's one of our family heads, and unsurprisingly, her 2 boys are actually both Suwadi characters as well. Minus 15% Senate influence for her. Another Great Wonder Construction malice. Loyalty minus 5, not great, although her loyalty is pretty good otherwise. And if she were the ruler, minus 5, subject opinion of us. Some people just can't get along with anyone. She's also a benefactor for extra plus 0.05 monthly popularity, 1 extra attraction as heir, plus 2% slave Great Wonder Construction for what that's worth, and then she has some democratic conviction as well, plus 115. If she were the governor, we'd see 8% increased slave happiness in her governorship, I should say. And if she were the ruler, 8% national slave happiness everywhere. Whilst there may be no such thing as true altruism, Condolan comes awfully close. Lastly, she is a lunatic, minus 2 to martial and finesse, which were already pretty bad, and plus 2 to charisma and zeal, which were, well, her charisma is pretty good, although it is still less impressive than her co-Otacon. Amazingly, yeah, 4 zeal is the best we're going to get, I suppose. Anyways, and also minus 0.20 health. Condolan Tilabele is in no uncertain terms stark, raving, and bonkers. A fairly interesting situation. She's also, and this is even more interesting, nearly a Democrat. Because she is now considered a ruler under this rule, she's not going to change while she's in the co-Otaconship position. But I actually almost, and I maybe could have spotted this last time, I wasn't looking that closely, I may have been able to do something to push her over the edge. She's extremely close to being a Democrat. I think I may have commented on this. I don't remember if I commented on this with her or someone else, but it doesn't really make sense for someone to be barely between oligarch and Democrat. These positions are pretty opposite of each other, but she's found a way. Enlightened centrist indeed. But if I managed to get her to be a Democrat, the Dems would be happier. Speaking of which, let's talk about our political situation. Trads are in control, which means plus 10% omen power while they are ruling, which is pretty good. Hold on one moment. Hey there, folks. Sorry about that cut. Had an email I had to respond to. Couldn't wait. Let's get back to it. Now, as I was saying, under the Traditionalists, we have an omen power bonus of plus 10%, which at the moment is translating to nothing because we have no omen selected. Let's do that. Probably want to go for the Jackal once again. I don't think there's any reason to really go for anybody else at the moment. State religion happiness certainly could be good. However, at the moment, we have a pretty happy population, especially, well, maybe just in Timbuktu, but in Timbuktu, people are pretty pleased. Around here, things are looking fairly good. I don't think state religion happiness is going to be a make or break modifier right now. Let's go for the Jackal for the commerce income bonus once again. All right, this will boost us up to 7.47. That's before any other modifiers yet, so pretty good start. All right, moving on. We have 47% traditionalist control, and they are at 9 approval, though they're increasing their approval at a meteoric rate. They like that the shield is the Otacon. They like that we're at peace. They like our high stability. Actually, having high stability is probably our most reliable way to get trad approval right now. They like that all of our Pantheon gods are Bedaic gods, and they're gaining some approval from our censor and from the shield directly. Not entirely sure what she's doing to give us approval from them, but I guess she's doing something. Oligarchs and Democrats both have really high approval because I was focusing on them in the last election cycle. Oligarchs are trending up, though Democrats, as we saw earlier, are collapsing downward very quickly. We will be attending to all this, as usual, my tyranny is a big point of contention for them, though they are fairly weak now at just about 20% control, with 34% rounding up control for the oligarch. So pretty interesting situation, and the outsized ascent of the trads, but with their low approval, is why my Senate support is now negative despite my efforts to control it last time. What do these parties want, by the way? Trads want me to do province fortification in Mema. Okay, let's find Mema and figure out how... Oh, here it is. Okay, they want province fortification in this province over here, which would be extra loyalty and fort infrastructure capacity. Not exactly a critical location for that, but I suppose I could do that. I could also just wait for them to force it through, although the problem now, and we've seen this before when the trads are in power, when they force it through, unless I'm willing to lose all their approval, I have to tank my PI and go into the negatives to do what they want. So could be a problem as I'm trying to build cities, but I guess they are not going to let me do that without having to get through them. Democrats want me to have 7.43 tyranny. That's a much more realistic tyranny request from them. They've been previously asking for like me to have 0.5 tyranny, like out of your mind. It's not happening anytime soon. 7.43 is also not happening anytime soon, but it's a lot more kind of within the bounds of what I could possibly pull off if I don't make any money from selling off nobles at all for a long time, which I don't think I can probably go too long without doing some of that. Oligarchs want me to grant holdings to 5 family heads. That would be extremely expensive. Although, of these 3 missions, this one is the most easily doable. I guess I really should say that the investment one is also doable, because I can do it when forced by the mission popping up, but I'm more comfortable spending money than I am spending PI, and I do have a lot of money right now. Let's see here. It'd be 40 gold per holding, so doing some quick maths, that's what, 240 gold, I think. What's 8 plus 8 is 16. No, it'd be 200 gold. Yeah, because 40 times 5 is 200. Right? Yeah, that's right. So I could do that. I also would gain corruption on these characters, which isn't necessarily great. I may need to do this just to get some approval, although at the moment I don't need Senate approval that badly. In terms of what I might need their approval to do, what claims do I still have? Basically just on the northern Ghana tribes. And I did try to find on the wiki how the control range modifier works over impassable. The answer is I'm not really sure. I couldn't find a solid answer on this, and Imperator Rome's sort of finer points on its mechanics are often not very well documented, so I might be able to annex these tiles directly because it's over impassable. I might not be able to, but I could still vassalize whoever I'm fighting. And I do have... Wait, a feudatory doesn't count as a vassal slot? I thought that it did. Okay, that's interesting. Apparently, feudatory does not count as a vassal position. That's a little strange. I guess tributary counts, but feudatory doesn't count. I'm pretty sure... doesn't a feudatory count as a vassal position, or as a diplomatic relation in vanilla? Okay, I guess I'm not sure about that, but either way, apparently it doesn't with the mods that I have currently. So, with that noted, I could actually form both of these as feudatories, or conquer... Well, I guess if I have to make them both feudatories, it'd be a little awkward, but it would succeed in an indirect way in getting me closer to the lucrative Mediterranean market in the north, which is, of course, a long-term goal. Now, I can also colonize my way this direction. I will need to expand my territory, but colonization will require having 8 pops that are, I believe, plurality bozo culture in order to colonize. And without the ability to do what tribes do and move pops around, move tribesmen around, I guess I can move slaves around. I don't remember if slaves actually count for this or not, so it's going to be a little tricky, but we'll see what we can do. Either way, getting back to it, let's see. I got so thrown off by the email I have to remember what I was doing. I think we're good to go ahead and start reorganizing our government. Now, let me just go ahead and do my traditional fire and rehire approach to just clear everything out from the start and then get everyone reassigned back. I'll also take a look at the governors to make sure, because we do have to fill a governor slot. I believe Kondolun was our governor of Songhay, Actually, was it her? No, it was Sanpoko. Yeah, I would never have made this character a governor with her stats. It was Sanpoko who was the governor. All right. And in fact, I think she got the name the Shield, or the nickname the Shield, because I did some action with her when she was the governor. I like gave her the nickname to give her some extra. Yeah, that's right. I remember I was manipulating the election to boost her chances of becoming the full Otacon, which succeeded. Anyways, let's go ahead and clear everything out and start from scratch. See what we can do about this party approval situation. Now, fortunately, with the ascent of the Trads don't care at all about family loyalty or family happiness. So, at this stage, having more grateful families would be more efficient because the oligarchs are stronger. But I don't want to necessarily upset the Democrats too much because they're very hard to make happy because of my tyranny. So I think the best thing I can do is probably try to prevent grateful families as much as possible while not necessarily going overboard, because the Democrats will dislike grateful families. So let's see what we can do here. Although with their low control, it's just Sigiri Suwari, which we should remember is the husband of the co-Otacon, interestingly enough, for what that's worth, who is he's the only family head who's providing his power base to the Dems, so not too serious. Of course, Arabunu, who is our not Arabunu. Arabunu was our second Otacon. Our first Otacon is Salma Tilabili, coming back in, assumedly. His crazy succession support has not changed. But Arabunu and Kenga Sankara are the family heads who are oligarchs right now. And we've got Tilabili, Otacon of Timbuktu, in the Trad faction, and of course Labadeado Bolsa, who we saw last time. She is incidentally, she's the family head of the Tielabeles, that's right. So after my meddling last time to give the Tielabeles control over the entire realm, their family head basically became the Otacon shortly after, although I helped make that happen. So there's a sense of narrative structure to all this. Okay, so at this point, the only family who's content is the Isawagans, because Arabi is the governor of Jene, if I remember correctly. No? Hold on. No, not Arabe. One of their characters is the governor of Jene. Here it is, yeah. Akoi Isawagan. That's right, I was getting them mixed up. Okay, he is probably fine to keep where he is. This guy is, by the way, a very traditionalist, so I'm happy to leave him there. In terms of his modifiers for suitability to be the Jene governor, I think. So let me change my music slightly. This is probably fine. Okay. I don't know how loud it's going to be in the video, but I'm always nervous about that. It always is quieter to me than it is in the video, so because it sounds loud to me, I'm going to just do that preemptively. Anyways, Akoi over here. Let's see. Anything I should care about? He has corruption reduction, which is great for a governor. Freeman happiness. Okay, that's basically the only relevant part. That's good. I could also give him a cognomen, incidentally, which would be interesting. But I don't think that's necessary. I'm not trying to make him gain or make myself lose popularity, so there's no strategic reason to do this. It would just be kind of cool, but let's leave it as is. He does have free hands going, which is fine, because with his righteousness, he is completely fine right now. Yeah, let's leave that as it is. So we're going to leave him there with his 68 loyalty. That's pretty good for a governor, so I'll leave it alone. Over in Diafanu, which is to say in the Songhai region, we need to assign a new governor. And we need to make this selection quite precisely. This would be pretty bad on the local tax, but this is only a pretty small area. I don't have any more claims to work on right now, so I could get away with kind of a bad governor for now. Aside from the tax modifier, he's actually going to... This guy would be a very good governor. 10 finesse with 4 martial. I don't think martial's going to matter quite so much right now. I've got a good martial Otacon. I can always hire mercs if necessary. Uncaring is not ideal, though if I were to assign him, the Sankara family would no longer be scorned, so this would improve slightly. He's also an oligarch, so the oligarchs might like that, or at least give him a bit of power base, and then he would contribute to their strength. Could also assign the Democratic Party leader, Wati Chilabele. That feels a little risky. He is fairly loyal, interestingly. Oh, it's because he's an officer and he has free hands right now, so that's why he's loyal. What office is he in? Okay, maybe that's actually out of date. Either way, I think let's give the Sankara family their position with this kid, Gumasita Sankara. Okay, what are we looking at now? 55 loyalty, that'll do. As for the policy, he set it over to civ effort. That's fine. I'd prefer it to be on assimilation. I think I was doing assimilation here earlier. Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely after a ticket, or I mean a period of time doing assimilation. Let's switch him back over. I think it's worth the PI and the tyranny gain. It's an expensive switch, but it needs to happen, honestly. Need to keep the assimilation going. This is an important entryway to the Songhai region, which, although not as luscious as Ghana, is still one of the lusciouser. Is that a word? More luscious? I'm not entirely sure. One of the less barren areas of the northern half of West Africa, so some of these farmlands look quite nice. And there's probably some good resources over here as well. There's definitely some good resources over here as well, so we definitely want to give Songhai some love. Okay, having done that, let's now assign our other positions. Starting off, we've got such good research efficiency now, I want to make sure that we've got only the best in our researcher positions, and particularly characters with dubious loyalty, like Labadeado. Coming off of the Atacon chip, he now has 41 loyalty. Not great, but this will put his family out of Scorned, which it'll upset the Dems. I don't think I have the brain power to do another round of single family rule for the entire government. I'm also going to deprive myself too much. I think at this point, my best option probably is to, my best strategy, I think, is to try to keep the Democrats from being too powerful so their approval problems aren't as serious and focus more on the big picture. Ultimately, unless I'm trying to go for like a dictator run where I have someone ascend out of the Democrat faction, having a powerful Democrat faction isn't actually super useful, as their modifier citizen output is arguably the strongest of the three. In fact, I think it probably is the strongest of the three, but their faction is so hard to control unless you're super peaceful and have furious nobles all the time. So those are two things that I struggle to maintain for too long. So I think for now, the best bet is to just try to keep their approval as high as I can, but focus a bit more on the big picture. We've got strong trads and still fairly strong oligarchs. Dems are lagging behind, so we will make them suffer by having nobles in power. Sorry, Dems. All right, Labadeado can come on in here. He could also alternatively be my oratory advancer, and there's an argument that he may be better suited there. Actually, we've got another family head. Yes, Sigiri Suwadi. Okay, look at that. Come on in, Labadeado. Yes, please. 1% per month, that's pretty good. That means we're looking at about 15 more months. So within this episode, we're going to see our first round of 4. Right, as for oratory, we'll put a Sigiri Suwadi in here. And for civic, let's see. Wati Tilabele probably will be good here. He's fairly loyal again, but he is the Democratic Party leader, so he will have some power base. I'm also going to go ahead and revoke free hands. Also make sure these characters have no free hands, so he's not gaining corruption uselessly. He's now less loyal, but he's still above 33, so that's what matters. Okay, as for religious advances, let's see. I could put in another Suwadi character, or I could put in the Boinu character. Let's go with her. Nyambe, or I mean, go with him, I should say. Nyambe, 71, okay. Very good. Nice, strong set of researchers. Okay, let's revisit the situation here now. Democrats are furious, oligarchs are sort of happy, and trads are, again, neutral on these family matters. Now we're looking at everyone being content, but no one being grateful. So now the real struggle begins, because I now have to fill another 8 positions without trying to make everyone grateful. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I probably can't really do that. I'm going to have grateful families whether I want them or not, unfortunately, because of 2 of 1 being grateful, which is absurd. But that's the situation that we're in. I can try to assign some qualified minor characters when I spot them. Let's bring Bugora Moko. I think I was, yeah, he was in a position previously. He has some statesmanship built up. Come on in. That'll do. All right. Let's see. Anybody else of minor character status? No one good for oratory. Let's check for zeal. Not really. Well, 7 is on the lower end of what I'd prefer, but I may have to. Let's do that. And then I should have revoked free hands from everyone as I was firing them, because now I'll need to find them to do that. Magistrate. Let's see. No, not magistrate. Tribute to the soldiers. Actually, let's do national tax first. That's more important. Any minor... Okay. 8 martial on Bumbo Bangime. I will go for that. And for tribute to the people, this one matters a little bit less, I think. Yeah, as usual, finesses. Nowhere to be found in the Republic. Don't know what I was expecting. Okay. Now, how much am I willing to sacrifice to... With this much approval built up, I can probably go a little further than this, unfortunately. Oh, they like Bokoro Mogo being in here. Is it because he's a Democrat? Yes. So if I can find Democrat characters... Okay. Let's start with the least painful positions to put goobers into. Alright, we're looking for minor characters here. Anybody of minor character status. That's the only guy left. Oh boy, alright, so we're gonna have some problems. Alright, 6 Marshal I think would be acceptable. Let's throw him in there, try to limit the damage as much as we can here. I guess the other way to look at it is I could do that, or I could just do another Tielabele style approach. It could be the Tielabeles, or it could be somebody else, where I just sort of fill the government with characters of the same family to limit the number of grateful families. I feel as though the grateful family disapproval is a little over the top. I feel like the Democrats shouldn't be that upset about it. I'd understand them liking scorn families, but I don't know. This is tough. But like I said, Democrats are not super strong right now, so I can probably get away with pushing them a little further than this. Maybe I try to just limit the number of grateful families to maybe 2 or 3 while still having qualified officers. Keeping in mind, by the way, that there's another argument that I should just be going for loyalty, not even for the modifiers, because I really want the PI, but we shall see what happens. Alright, let me see if there's one family that has winners in all of the 4 remaining types of positions I need. Okay, so Swati... Or is that the same guy? It is the same guy. Okay, there's a Swati there. Okay, I could... Is there... Okay, there's another good Swati. I could go for a Swati reign type situation, which would be interesting. I believe, actually, the Gene governor... Hold on. No, Isawakin. What am I thinking of? Actually, yeah, they don't have any positions in either governorship. Okay, let's go for it. 10 charisma on Kaba Swati. That's a traditionalist. That's fine. The soldiers, let's do 8 marshal is fine. Another traditionalist. I prefer some Democrats to get them some approval. High priest, do I see? Here we are. Labadea Bo. So this is confusingly the name that I was saying by accident last time for Labadea Do. So Labadea Bo will be our new high priest. Okay, tribute to the people. Alright, we got a couple good Suwati, or a couple solid Suwatis here. Let's not go too crazy here. Okay, and then here comes Kaya Suwati. He's pretty good as well. Okay, having done all that, what are we looking at now? Okay, so basically we've done the Tielabele strategy again, but with the Suwatis this time. It'll be kind of interesting to kind of cycle it to see how different families ascend at different moments. But, with this, also, another fun detail is that Sigiri Suwati is the husband of the co-Adcon, like I mentioned last time. So we can kind of explain this change as, with her coming into power as the co-Adcon, she is elevating her husband's house to power along with her. So, anyways, Democrats expectedly are annoyed by this, but they're not, like, super mad. Like, minus 0.47 is not super sustainable. But I can, because let's see, 12 months per year, 5 years, so that's what... So that's 60 months, so we're looking at about let's see, 60 months of minus 0.47 is about 30 approval loss over the course if I don't get approval elsewhere. So this is probably fine, especially because they're fairly low control. Oligarchs are trending up, which is good because they have a larger amount of control, and traditionalists are the most trending up because of all of the peaceful, happy ways that my nation currently exists. So pretty good thing overall, and I'm happy with these modifiers. Not the best in the world, but I am obviously juggling a lot of balls in the air right now. Let's go ahead and start giving everybody free hands. Charity has free hands. Everyone, give me your PI, please. Thank you. You actually, yeah, you already have free hands. I saw the 95, and I thought, there's no way. This guy was given free hands recently, so he's... this guy also was given free hands. This is with free hands. This guy's abrasive and lapsed. Oh, boy. But he's good, so I don't want to necessarily... And he's one of my few minor characters, so don't want to necessarily tempt fate with that. Okay, having done all that, is there any reason to change any of my laws? I don't have the PI for it, obviously. But I like having abolished assemblies for the PI gain, and when I remember to do it on tick, I can do the Senatorial War Council, which incidentally is about 5 years away. I'm 5 days offset because I missed it 2 episodes ago, or I missed it last episode, I should say, but that's fine. I think going to Provisioning Act to get a Legion going could be quite nice, but for now, that's a little out of reach. I don't have the invention yet, and I'm not going to have it for a while. Even if I were to go for it immediately, which I could do with my first 4, I don't think this is necessary. I'm not experiencing any military, struggles right now. That's the one area I typically am doing quite well in, and I've got plenty of mercs to work with. I don't think this will be necessary until we're fighting other larger powers, like eventually, if they survive, Besatis or Carthage, possibly Egypt and Meroe. We'll see who we fight and how we fight them in the future. Okay. At this point, let's go ahead and see. Any trade routes open yet? These are all probably internal. They are, in fact, all internal. That's too bad. Okay. Taxes are in default. I think that's fine. I could go for harsh to get more slave output, but I don't think that's going to be useful. I'd rather get the tech, and free trade is the way to go right now. Do I really care about the manpower income from these guys? Not that much, honestly. I think it's fine to leave it as is. I could also increase relations with them, which wouldn't be that expensive. Although, I shouldn't do anything that requires Senate approval until I get Senate approval, so let's leave it as is. Okay. Does Fabricate claim... it does require Senate approval, of course. Okay, I think we're good to go with unpausing. I've lost track of what time it is because I had to do multiple recording sessions here, but I think we should be good. I could also do religious privileges while these guys are in power. I can actually do any of them at any point. This would be... it'd be okay. None of these are actually super great for my current needs, so let's leave it as is. I think at this point I just need to save up PI to start building cities. Again, I need, what was it, 50 PI? Yeah, 50 PI to do city building. So, we wait, and we hope for good rolls from influenced stakeholders. I guess one more question is, do I go to war with anybody right now? My levy is ready to go. I'm at 6 units in the levy, and 3 coming in from Gene, so that's pretty good. I could go to war with the Northerners. I talked about this earlier. And they would join in together. I could march through the uncolonized land to go fight them. I suppose I could do that just to quickly get this out of the way and see if I could conquer their land or if I have to make them feudatories, which, as we saw, wouldn't take up any slots. Having 2 feudatories next to each other is a little inefficient, but if I have no other option to take this land, I suppose that's what I could do. It would secure me the rest of Ghana, although what the mission requires is actually... I mean, I'm already done with, that, but this requires colonization. This I can just do right afterwards. This requires that war and then colonization as well. With the Conqueror statue going into Bu Kazama for some reason. Interesting. Don't know why that would be picked, but that's what it would pick. This requires, at this point... actually, I could fight Kita. I don't have a claim on them, but they do control land in the Mema province. I could also expand my Gene holdings by fighting Kita, but with no claim on them, I can't do anything right now. I think the best thing to do is probably go to war with these guys up here, and then focus on recovering from there. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's prepare the armies. Now against these guys, just my Timbuktu levy is probably... Oh my god. I may not... I'm worried that I'll actually depopulate these lands by attacking them. I mean, depending on how... I don't know how that works, actually. I may not really have a way around that. I mean, I guess I should fight them, and if I end up destroying them in the sack because they have 1 population and 3, maybe I can at least save Adowane and then conquer it that way. I mean, if the lands are depopulated, the war just ends inconclusively, so let's go for it. Let's go for a little war. We do have 8 martial on our general to be, so that does work. Let's go ahead and raise the Timbuktu army. Only Timbuktu army is going to be needed here at Esakane. And turn on maintenance to sort of moderate, no need to go crazy with the culture happiness loss. This should be more than fine. And we can go ahead and probably just declare the war right now, honestly. Let's declare war on Adowane, because I think it's less likely Adowane will be depopulated by a successful siege compared to Walata, because this is a single noble community living in the desert. I don't know what that's about. But there's also a Beta shrine. Interesting. Bedaic shrine. Okay. I could actually destroy the shrine while I'm here, so I free up the Beta shrine for myself. Yeah, this is the only other shrine for my religion. This is a terrible spot for it as well, so I think I probably would want to do that. I could also just keep it there so that I control it, and then I can destroy it later, because you can destroy your own shrine with your army, even if it's in your own land, which is a little strange, but it is possible. Alright, I think this is the way to go. I'm worried if I declare the war, even though I'd be sieging Walata first, if I destroy them in the war, it may like do something weird. I may not be able to fight Adowane right after, so let's just declare the war on Adowane. They bring in Walata, and Nyata joins in. They're forced to. Incident. Let me check this really quick. What's your... Okay, 8 martial on you. Shouldn't be a problem, because I think the vassal AI is hard-coded to transfer to you. Or if they don't transfer to me, I can just give it to them, and then I can take it from them by integration later. So it ultimately works, even if it has to be kind of roundabout. All right. Take Kolyma. Let's do it. Oh, hold on. Right, the Senate support. I was literally just talking about the Senate support. 6 tyranny is a lot, and I completely forgot about the Senate support. I think it is probably worth waiting for Senate support to get a bit less bad. Let me see if I can do something now, like right this second, before I end pause, to clean up Senate support at least a little bit. 6 tyranny is a lot to take on, and it'll make the Democrats even unhappier. I could get the bestowment, and that's probably the easiest thing I can do right now, because I can't do investment right now. I don't have the PI, but I can do bestowment right now. All right, let's do it. This will also improve the loyalty of all of my family heads, which certainly doesn't hurt. Red holding. This will make the Democrats less happy, but the oligarchs are more powerful, so this should actually by itself also improve my approval. So let me just go ahead and start doing this. Any reason I should do it on someone specific? I could do it on myself first, although this would give her corruption. Doing it on someone who's not you doesn't give any corruption. She does have good corruption loss, so maybe it'd be okay. How much was it, though? Was it 5 corruption? Yeah, that's way too much. 5 corruption is pushing it. I guess I could give her 1 holding. 5 corruption would be lost fairly quickly. Let me... If I don't need to give her a holding and get the corruption, I just won't do that. So let me assign to other family heads. Alright, and just because I am spiteful at having to do this, let me find the worst places for holdings, like deserts. All of my land so far is fairly lush, so any nasty land I can give away. I don't actually control any deserts yet, it's mostly just plains. How about places near the deserts, like Bear? Let's see if we can spite these nobles as we give them holdings. Alright, let me start with Labadeado. Grant him a holding in... Is there a Bear holding I can give him? I think there would be. really doesn't matter that much, but... Alright, how about Kabata? There it is. Okay, that did give me a little bit of support as I expected it would, but I'm going for the 10 approval bonus. That's what's really going to matter. Okay, I could give him another holding, but let me spread these holdings out slightly to prevent any sort of family overpowering. Chelabelas have a lot of prestige right now because all those characters were just officers, so... How about Isalaghin next? Let me grant holdings to the non-Chelabelas to even things out here. Alright, Yabu, is there a holding for that? Let me grant holdings in places that are actually not likely to be cities, so how about Kano? Kano. Okay. Now let me grant a holding to Kenga Sankara as well. Let's go for maybe Tiraka. And then Arabunu, we'll grant him a holding. We'll have to do one more after that. How about a holding in Kulima? For one more holding, we will grant to the Suwadi family. Ko-Atakan probably insists, but we will bend to her request. We'll put it over in Niata, just places kind of out of the way. I mean, holding locations is such a tiny micro detail, it's not going to matter, because it... Essentially, if there's, like, civil wars and rebellions where there were holdings could affect where, like, the rebels sort of happen, but I'm not going to let that happen, and this is, like, a level of min-maxing that is not necessary for the way that I play. Alright, and that should be enough for the bestowment to be considered granted, so after the tick, they should agree to it, which means I can just declare the war after the tick. After the monthly tick, maybe. I guess we'll stand here and recover in the meantime. I did gain a bit of support from these actions anyways, so it would be a little cheaper, but let me wait for the February 1st message to get the big approval boost. It probably won't get me above 51, but we'll see. Here it is. Aims of oligarchs realized. I guess it was January 28. Partisans of the oligarchs are practically falling over each other to congratulate Atakan Sanpoko for defending their interests in the Assembly of Timbuktu. It seems the decisions of our government have ensured the approval of the interests of the elites for the time being. Alright. That was not the big boost I was expecting. Did I already have 100 approval? I may have had 100 approval from just doing the holding granting. Or I had close to it. Okay, so maybe a little bit of a approval. May have been a little unnecessary. I could have probably revoked a couple holdings and then gotten the 10 approval to get more from the Democrats, but let's wait for the tick and see if we end up with something a little higher. Okay, it is in fact a little higher. So let's declare the war for Kulima. We'll be attacking Adawane. They call in Walata. We call in Niata. This will be 4 tyranny, so saved us, actually, you know, a couple months on tyranny. Alright, that is enough for organization. We got full food. Let's go for it. Into Walata we go. We are on the right. Oops. Right position. Heavy cab in the back. Light cab on the side. Perfect. Ooh, we have a disloyal co-ruler. Huh? Disloyal co-ruler. I guess her loyalty actually scaling affects PI, which I didn't notice until now. Alright, well that's not going to work. Free hands is going to be necessary. Yeah, that gets rid of it. Could I have bribed her? No, I don't have enough money. Making friends would have taken too long. So she'll gain corruption slowly, but this should be manageable. I need the PI much more. And then ruler corruption. Can't do much about that. I actually have 0 corruption, so this is a little excessive, I think, but what do I know? Into the desert we go. So fort maintenance should be off. I don't need fort maintenance at all in this war. I'm rolling the dice on that. Unless these guys hire mercs, but then they have to come up to these lands to get out of Black Flag, so wouldn't actually be a problem either way. Although if they do hire mercs, I'm going to have numbers problems. I could always hire mercs myself if needed, but should hopefully not come to that. I guess we'll see how things go here. Right, here we come. I don't think Walata's going to have any levy at all, and actually Adawane probably doesn't have a levy either with only 3 pops. They may have 1 levy, but they may not even raise it if they do have that. We shall see. Looks like my vassals are not bothering to come join. That's fine. Oh! Okay. War declaration by Titchit. That's a little... That was not what I was expecting to happen. Okay, I don't know what on earth prompted this. These guys saw my army marching in the desert and were offended, I guess, but they've declared war on me. Huh? Were they also at war with these guys over here? That's what it seems like is the case. Okay, Titchit is, oddly enough, also fighting these tribes out here. But now they're fighting me and my vassal. Now, these guys have 1 pop as well. Honestly, I'll take this. This is actually kind of nice, because this gives me a way to conquer, vassalize more tribes in the Sahara, which is something I was worried I'd need to spend a lot of PI to set up. So I'll take it. Of all the random war declarations, I think this is the first war declaration on me, and it was this just sort of Lovecraftian, mind-boggling strategy by these megalithic Gadalas over here. I don't know what they're thinking, but I will go for it. Come on, come at me, bro. Yeah, that's fine. All right. It's like the scene from House of the Dragon. Come on! No spoilers, but if you know, then you know. Great show, by the way. I should make a video about House of the Dragon, because I really like that show. I'm actually a really big Song of Ice and Fire franchise fan, and I have a lot of thoughts on House of the Dragon Seasons 1 and 2, which I may make a video talking about. If people are interested, let me know in the comments if you want to hear my thoughts on that. I'm a decade-long, at this point, book super fan, so I have a lot of thoughts. I'm even reading Fire and Blood right now again. Alright. Notes aside, poor harvest. Several years of widespread crop failure is taking its toll on our country. While our people initially preserved the true Timbuktuian spirit, now they have begun to blame their governors, enemies, and even an advisor they see most responsible for this. Labadeado Suwadi, my high priest. Alright, it's clear we must take action. I am fine losing 10 popularity. That's not a big deal. Raise the price of grain. I'm not going to gain 10 corruption. Out of the question. No siree. Okay, so being in 2 wars isn't going to be great on the war exhaustion, but in a status quo is not the best start. I'm a bit nervous about the food situation, though. Out here in the desert, I mean, yeah, this is a desert tile as well. Doing an assault here might be necessary just to avoid food problems, but then we have to siege Adawane right after. I may have to duck back and get more food from Esekane. Now, the other problem is that the Gene would be bringing in 2 more infantry. I think I was a little hasty in not bringing in Gene. That's another 2 infantry for assaults. Let me bring in the Gene levy as well. Better late than never, I suppose. Plus they have some... I mean, they're not going to share their food, but hopefully they don't remember what I made them do last time I was thinking about food and using the Gene levy. Let's bring them in. We should just assault Walata, because this desert tile is going to be harder on... Where's my supply map mode? 12. Actually, we're okay here. Although, yeah, being in desert at all is just 1% extra attrition. And I think it may affect my food consumption a bit. Yeah, 20% instead of 10%. So I should assault Walata and then siege Adawane afterwards. And if I need to hire mercs, I can. I'd really prefer not to with my economy in Fort Maintenance needs to go back off. Actually, these guys aren't going to bring in any force. They're going to have 0 levies. They could hire mercs, and they've been sitting here for 15 years, turtling and probably building up a treasury. But I don't know if they will think of hiring mercs, and they might. I can always pay the mercs off or hope that works. If they hire mercs, I'll have to respond and hire mercs as well, likely to keep the power level similar. So this may end up becoming like a mercenary arms race type situation. But for now, let's just focus on getting these territories. Now, if I were able to conquer any of these 3 tiles, and what's the population? Oh, 1 out here. This may actually kill them if I siege them. Could be a problem. We'll see what happens here. Condolan Suwari, this is a different Condolan, tribute to the people, and a fine display of financial acumen has made significant alterations to the national budget. We should expect to see much better revenue this year. Excellent. Yes, please. 10% national tax. I will take that happily. Alright, if we could get a breach as well, that would be phenomenal. But I'm not feeling too hopeful. When has siege luck ever gone my way? Also, Senate is getting furious. Yeah, I definitely needed to pay closer attention to hitting the cap on oligarch approval, supply shortage, before doing the mission completion, because I could have probably scored a bit of Democrat approval for free by then getting the 10 right after, but it is what it is. It's too late now. Also, going to war really upset the trads, which is the real reason, by the way, why I lost so much approval. But they're climbing back up fairly, I shouldn't say quickly, they are climbing back up at a measured rate. All right, give me breach. Food shortage, okay, that's fine. I would have preferred a breach, but yeah, food shortage indeed. We're about to need to go back for more food. Maybe I need legions just to fill them with, like, food supply trains. Like, I need a legion of, like, 1 soldier and then like 99 supply trains to move around in this terrain. Okay, now everyone's here. Let's give it the remaining 15 days in case we get a breach, and then we'll do an assault. And then we're going to run back to recover our food in the plains down here by Kolima and Esekane. Right. If I get a breach here, my life will be so much easier. No. Supply shortage is good, but not good enough. Alright, order the assault. Everybody's here. This is going to be painful on... I mean, I got plenty of manpower built up, so I'm actually not too worried about that. Let's just order the assaults. Get this one of the 3, this one desert tile out of the way. Alright, sacking of this. Did we... Oh my god, thank you. That was a close one. We could have enslaved the noble, but thankfully they didn't do that. Alright, the sacking of Walata. Senpoku Telebeli of the Shield has led her men to glorious victory during the siege of Walata. The enemy flee in disgrace, and all that is left is to decide on how to treat the residents within. Needless to say, these spoils of war left the Akaza's back in Timbuktu to admire Senpoku greatly, but leaving such wealth in the hands of one man and hands of one woman. My goodness, look at me, already forgetting the progress Timbuktu has made. The hands of one woman could cause problems in the future. Gentle looting, the gentlest of looting, please. Oh my god, close call right there. Alright, now we've done that, I think it's time to withdraw back to get more food. Back to Esekane you go. If you can get there before you starve, that'd be good. Meanwhile, I think I need, what was it, 2k? I've already forgotten what I need. Yeah, I think I need 2k to siege this anyways. So let's actually go back and recover with you guys. In fact, let me do this in a more intelligent manner. Let me have you allow attachment, and you can just attach. There we go. Come back over to Esekane and get your food back up. I'm actually liking how much food capacity is a problem in this campaign. Like, this feels appropriate for a campaign in West Africa to have food problems because it is sparse terrain out here, and these are large tiles, right? There are a lot of tiles, but they're fairly large tiles that take a long time to move through. So food capacity is not normally a mechanic I've ever really cared about that much, but for some reason it just is sort of working in this campaign in a way that in the sense that it's impactful, right? Even though I don't like it, the fact that it's having an impact on my like warring feels interesting, so that's what matters for a strategy game. And that's, by the way, a big part of how I'm designing Hegemony, my own Imperator mod. I'm focusing on mechanics that are impactful, even if they are frustrating to deal with, because I think a strategy game is most interesting when your actions require... Are we recovering here? No, we're not. We are recovering here. Hold on. But we're recovering in desert, so we're not recovering as efficiently because we still have attrition. But if we are recovering in occupied land, which I guess... It's been a while since I played the last episode. I don't remember how this works, but it appears that we're recovering on the tick in our tile because it's occupied. So attrition is fine. What I need is the food, so this is actually workable. Let's just come back. Let's stay here to get the food. No need to go all the way back. Well, that being said, I should have looked at this while they were in the tile still. it was saying that there was still attrition, and that was affecting their food gain. But let's just go back. Play it safe. Also, we're nearly at 50 PI. Very nice. But yeah, oh, hold on. Oh my god! I can reach Mauritania! Oh my god. Holy crap. Oh, I can reach people who have trade goods for me. Wow, okay, that's enormous. Mauritania, I would like your fish, please. 8% for him in happiness for surplus. Gonna mix our swamp fish with nice Mauritanian Atlantic fish. Yes. Oh my god. Commerce economy is in sight. Yep, anyways, I think that strategy games are most interesting when you... Oh. Okay, this is what I was expecting might be a problem. Yeah, the real issue is the morale, because they're gonna have... Okay, you know what? We are cranking this up all the way. Gonna have to do... This may be a little bit more complicated than I was expecting, but I've been having some nice, easy wars in the plains for a few episodes. Time for a logistically nightmarish war in the Sahara. That's what we're all here for, after all. Alright. We missed a couple months of recovery on the way, but now that we're back in Asakane, we should be able to get our food back fairly efficiently. Reorganize while I'm at it. Yeah, them getting mercs isn't great. It's heavy infantry mercenaries as well, so a fairly strong merc stack of 4. Now, my army is much stronger, and we also have better morale, so we're going to win this fight, but it will take casualties. And they are going to be able to recover Walata, although they're not going to be able... Well, if they suffer any attrition, they're going to fail the siege, so we'll see. Caught red-handed. Hauled in front of the assembly. Salma Tielabele is a sorry sight. Oh my god. Caught with honed sword in hand, his most signature weapon, who is said to be ready to strike down Sagiri Sawadi in a brutal act of violence. Wow. That's quite the accusation. Not only is Salma the anticipated next Otacon, he was our first Otacon. He's the party leader of the oligarchs, and he was going to kill the Sagiri Sawadi, a family head. Admittedly a Democrat family head, so that may explain it, but this is a pretty extreme act by Salma, if true. I mean, that's just an allegation. Luckily, passers-by were quick enough, I guess there's eyewitnesses, quick enough to act and prevent this terrible deed, but now we have the unenviable task of passing judgment on the wicked Salma. What a wild thing to do. Like, this is the husband of the co-Adcon, and he's like, let me pull out my honed sword and get to work. Alright, I don't necessarily want to upset Sagiri too much, and I would kind of like Salma to come back. He's a pretty good main Otacon, except for the finesse. He's not so good at that, but his 9 martial could be quite good. I guess I could try to go for a higher finesse main Otacon, but this guy is such enormous succession support, I may not really be able to get around it. That being said, with the oligarchs losing a lot of their power and the trads gaining power, if I could find a traditionalist to prop up, I could possibly supplant Salma as the next expected Otacon. This gives me a way to imprison him, but do I want to imprison him? He's the current party leader. I could imprison him and let him die in prison, but then the traditionalists would be upset, and they are currently the faction in power who I want to have approval with. Although I'm not sure, I think having their leader in prison would upset them. I mean, it's very likely, but they do have low approval right now, so maybe it's not as big of a deal. But I want to gain their approval because they're the party with the most control, so it's a pretty tough situation to kind of parse out. I think imprisoning him would be pretty extreme. If I were to imprison him, he probably wouldn't be reliable as a non-ruler character again, because he'd lose so much loyalty, at least for the short term. If I were to imprison him, I guess I could execute him and spend tyranny to make sure he dies, and then that would possibly... I don't know. I don't remember what imprisoning does for approval ticking, or what it would do for the approval amount currently. Doing this would also... Well, this would also upset all the Suwaris, which would be fine, but not great. Alright, I'm going to imprison him. The dungeon will straighten him out. Who's the new oligarch leader? Okay, it's Adabunu. Oh, why was I looking at he's an oligarch leader. I was looking at the traditionalists for some reason. That was just completely wrong. It's fine because the oligarchs, true to form, care exactly 0% about what I just did. Wow. The moment you're out of the inner circle, you're out of the inner circle. All right, so he wasn't a family head, to be fair, so the Chielabelis aren't even that upset, and they're also in charge of the Archonship and the co-Archonship, so this is some, like, Chielabeli infighting right here. This makes it even more interesting because his relative is the one who's married to Sagiri Suwadi. Okay, so now that Salma is in prison, what do I do? I could sell him into slavery. Oligarchs won't like that, because the great family was shamed. So they actually wouldn't like it if any great family character was sold into slavery, I assume. One moment. More emails. Okay. He would be fairly valuable. This would also get rid of him from my game. Chilabelis would be unhappy, though, so I probably shouldn't do that. I could flog him. This would make him personally lose loyalty. He'd also lose health. Also, all of his rivals would gain loyalty, which is, incidentally, is that my governor, or is that the other Isawagan character? That's the governor of Jene. And, of course, Sagiri, who's his rival, obviously. Doing this wouldn't upset the family, so this is a softer way. Now, he has pretty good health. What are his traits again? Nothing that affects health either way. Yeah, in Vanilla Imperator Rome, the actual like health number is not displayed, so it's kind of mysterious. I could also make him a gladiator, which would be interesting. It could be kind of interesting to do this. Honestly, this would be kind of, yeah. I could also just directly execute him, but Senate would be mad. So that's 7 tyranny, so I shouldn't do it right now. I'd also gain tyranny anyways, and the oligarchs would be mad too. I could also banish him. Similar outcomes, slightly less tyranny. Making him a I mean, he has 9 marshals, so he's a pretty good fighter. I think this could be... Let me make him a gladiator. He was trying to kill my my co-Otcon's husband. I think he needs to earn his freedom in the ring. Come on out, Salma Chielabeli. From Archon to gladiator. Like, talk about a character arc right here. I can't make him fight anybody. Oh, shoot. Okay. I have to make him fight another prisoner, don't I? Let me keep him in prison for now. Maybe I'll, maybe I'll make him fight one of the nobles from the places I'm going to conquer. All right, they're sieging this. Did I get my... I didn't get it back up in time. Ooh, okay. Oh, I didn't get it up at all. Oh boy. I'm gonna continue pushing it. I don't need... Yeah, they're gonna get this because it wasn't paid for. That's frustrating. I'm gonna wait for one more tick, then we go. Status quo. Okay, maybe I'm gonna get away with this. But it is multiple months to get up there, so maybe I won't get away with this. It's not gonna matter now because it's under siege. Actually, does it matter now? I don't actually know. It actually does matter now. It does take that into account. Okay. I'll pay for it just to try to slow them down, but we're likely going to lose this because I wasn't paying for the fort. Okay. Here's our first advance. Martial advance. Otacon. Blank. Morale of armies and navies plus 0.07, and increased legion and navy maintenance cost. Our administration is expanded enough to implement 1 free innovation. Okay, now the big question, do I go for professional training, which given the fact that I can add supply trains to legions to avoid the problems I've been having is looking more and more like a good idea? Or do I go for the probably much stronger option of going straight for hypocost? I think I probably do want to go straight for hypocost. I can also get reduced found city cost modifier. Also, I did not found the city. This just reminded me. I've had a lot going on in the last couple of minutes, so let's go for right to be heard. Acknowledging the right for our nobles to make their argument before the authorities will vastly increase their tendency to work within the system and not without. Alright, very good. Okay, now, this will have to do. Let's rush back up north, try to save the siege. If we have to re-siege it, it's going to have low strength, so that's fine. Yeah, then, hold on. I could actually just hire these mercs from them, couldn't I? This is a much better idea. Yeah, this is a much better idea. Let me go ahead and make an offer to Bomilcar Sifid. Let's see what he does. He accepted. Okay, mercenary buyout successful. The band of mercenaries led by Bomilcar Sifid has accepted our benevolent offer of employment. The villains in Walata apparently refuse to consider matching our generous offer. That is their loss. Okay. Now that I've done this, I can actually stay here and continue recovering my food. And I probably... with this much food, I can probably make it up to Adawane and assault it. In fact, now that I have the mercs with me, what's this guy's? Oh, perfect. We've got ourselves some men ready to die in the assault instead of my men, because most of my men are horses. An unfortunate arrangement. Alright, so with the food situation noted, I'm going to keep these guys around. I'm going to, well... Increased pay will give them more morale to make the assault cheaper. Let me... With all these forces here, and with the mercs helping out, I can assault Adawane and then go and assault Tichet, probably on default maintenance. Let me risk it here. I really want to avoid the extra cost for the mercs, because they're going to be expensive. They're a fairly small merc force, so they're not that expensive, but any amount that I can save would be worth it. I'm making a lot of risky plays when it comes to wartime, but I really want to min-max this as much as possible. Alright. You can go ahead and just stay here so that you're not losing your strength in the Adawane siege. We're just going to assault it anyways. I could also desecrate the holy site with the mercs, which might be a more a more immersive way to do it if I wanted to desecrate it. Do I want to... I mean, I do want to desecrate this, but do I want to desecrate it right now? The other argument is I keep it here so that no one else can get it, and then I desecrate it when I want to move it somewhere else. Also, I should build a city now, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should just get to it now. Let's build a city in Gundam as planned. Alright. Held by Sigiri Sawadi. Sawadis are really benefiting quite a lot during this particular election cycle. Alright, we have a daughter born to Senpai. I didn't even realize she was pregnant. Named Tarifa Tilabeli. That's fine. Very nice. Alright. The shield marches into the sands. Look at that. You just stay here and not die from attrition. I need all of your men to fight my assault for me. Alright. Food situation is looking manageable. This has been a very strange war, but probably this has gone about as good as it could have, aside from some minor mistakes. I'm just getting all of the most distracting emails right now, but it happens. Alright, come on in here, we'll do an assault. This should be 2 population. They've lost a population. I don't know how they did that, but their loss, I suppose. Getting some more exhaustion problems. Not great. Oh, hold on. That is a Walata merc force coming in. Now, it's going to take them around half a year to a year to make it up here from there. They have to cross around the desert. But this war should be done by the time they arrive, so they should actually cease to exist. I'm not going to bother, actually, because they're black flags. They're not going to do anything in my lands. Liberation. The Council of Timbuktu has taken it upon themselves to free a sizable quantity of privately owned slaves. We could intervene if we think it best. Letting slaves get too comfortable could have repercussions. I think the shield will support slaves becoming free. I mean, these are bozo slaves, so I want them to promote. So, for freedom. That is fine. 8th of August. Here we come. Pause, that would help things move a little bit faster. Alright, fortress under siege. These guys are at full garrison. I can now safely reduce my fort maintenance. Again, I know I'm playing around quite a bit here, but I have the plan in mind. I know what I'm doing here, hopefully. Alright, I think we just do an assault immediately. We've got the strength for it. Do we have the morale? I mean, this number here, right? We got, let's see, 5. We got 9, which means how much? It's 500. So we've got 9 times 500. I can't do math. Let's just do the assault. No. Sacking of Adawane. It survived with 1 pop remaining. Oh my god, that was close. We enslaved 1 pop and send them to Houndu. Please don't enslave anybody else. Well, I'm not looking. Alright. Senpoku Telebele, the shield, has led our men to glorious victory during the siege of Adawane. The enemy flee in disgrace, and all that is left is to decide on how to treat the residents within. Needless to say, these spoils of war like to cause us back in Timbuktu to admire Senpoku greatly. Leaving such wealth in the hands of oh my god, did it again. Gonna get canceled at this rate. Leaving such wealth in the hands of one woman could cause problems in the future. I've read this event like hundreds of times. I, for some reason, always read this event every single time. I don't know why. If you go back to my old, Damasek campaign, whenever I was invading a much larger neighbor, I'm not gonna spoil things, but I was reading this event multiple times, like every couple minutes. So, anyways, let's go ahead and let the living be gentle. Whew. All right. Let's see what we can do here now. Okay, so they are out of control range, as I worried they might be, because they're not adjacent to my land or adjacent to something already in the treaty. That's too bad. I can't make them feudatories, though. That's a bit of a problem. How come I can't make them feudatory? I could make this guy over here a feudatory. Is it because they're out of my control range? Does feudatory check for that? I've not looked at the code for that before. I mean, making them my tributaries would be the most lucrative. I wouldn't mind that at all. Will they take up a slot as a tributary? I don't think they do. Yeah, none of these say they take up slots. Usually it would say that. I could make one of them a tribal vassal, and then I get the tribesman happiness bonus from them. But I'd rather get the money if I'm not going to be integrating either. This may have to be what I do, which means that the Tichit War could also result in a tributary win. Probably the best I can do until I conquer further this direction. Okay, 2 tributaries is very cheap on 8E, and I will be making nearly half a gold per month from these 2 tributaries by themselves, and that's with my tribute thing reduced. I could probably increase it and make more money. This is probably the best I can do. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't make them a feudatory, which will let me integrate them, and I also can't conquer them because I don't technically border them, again, because impassable. I feel like impassable should count as ocean for this calculation, but I'm not the one who made these decisions, so it is what it is. Alright, well, I want to at least get this from the war. I didn't really get much from the actual sieges, and I spent a lot of effort to do this war. Let's make these guys some tributaries. That's a good start for our Sahara expansion. It'll take a while if we have to do it the long way. Maybe uninhabitable passable tiles sort of work differently, but unclear for now. Let's go ahead and go for this. Alright. So Walata becomes a tributary of Timbuktu, and Adawane becomes a tributary of Timbuktu. And with that, ooh, these guys, oh, you know what? It's because they just did an assault. I was about to say, why did they lose all their morale? But we actually know why. Okay, now what is happening with my? Okay, so this doesn't count. So none of these types of relationships count for a vassal or for a diplomatic slot. Okay. I mean, I'll take the income, that's for sure. In fact, let me extort them. Yeah, now it's worth it to do that. How do my vassals feel? Nyata is actually pretty happy with me anyways. These guys are not very happy, but what are they gonna do? They've got 1 population. Honestly, for the quality of this land, getting 0.22 gold per month from these guys, and actually it's more than that now. You're getting 0.40, like this gold is basically coming from nowhere. There's no like diegetic source of this income. It's just coming from the tag, from its like status as a tribe, and not from the actual land. This is much, much, much more value than I get from this land if I owned it directly. So even though I'd prefer to expand with actual territory, this is a pretty good alternative pragmatically, because my goal here is just to get money and strengthen my core land right now, and this will accomplish that. Plus, this prevents these guys from actually attacking me at an inopportune moment. And let's see, what does this require? Owned by Timbuktu or her subject. So I think this actually will count for subject ownership, though I'm not going to be able to actually get the rest. Like, this is not possible without a lot of colonization and then another war to make these guys fully annexed. Which means I'm just going to focus probably on settle Timbuktu and get this stuff done, and then finish the mission at that point. Okay. That's good. Let me head over... Actually, let me stay here for now, and... Well, hold on. I do want to make these guys a tributary, I think. I think it's worth it. Although, I don't need the mercs, necessarily. I could just use my main force for this. What are we looking at up here? Level 1 fort. It's in the desert. We're not going to have any mercs. Yeah, these guys are now actually hired by my vassal, which I didn't even think about. So these guys may actually help out too, which is hilarious. They may fire them now that they're not at war. Although, yeah, they're not in the war that I'm in currently. Can I call them into this war? Hold on. I'm not... No, they're tributaries, so they don't actually join the war. They're just considered like an allied mercenary stack. Hopefully they fire them so they don't get bankrupt, but I don't know if their bankruptcy would affect their income for me. We're in uncharted territory here with this weird vassal stuff. Alright, am I recovering here? This is sort of allied land, technically, so I should be recovering up here. Recovering food, I mean. I think my best bet's probably just to rush towards Tichit. I do have the strength manpower-wise, even if I start starving, to just do a siege the long way. Sieging in the desert won't be very nice, but I suppose I can just go for it. We're going to recover our morale on the march, so no need to stick around. And food-wise, we're going to start starving as we get there, but we can just do an assault, or we can just bear it out. Alright, this has been pretty strange, but this worked out pretty well. I'm actually happy to get this kind of economic... We're back, look at the number. We're back at the triple sixes. It's an ominous discovery. That's with a mercenary force and our army raised, so our economy is about to be booming. Alright, so if I can be declared on by more of these goofy Sahara tribes and get more tributaries, I will happily go for it. Also, these guys, they don't have any extra goods. They won't buy or sell with me. And unfortunately, this means I'm not going to get the, here's the civic advance, the diplomatic range increase I was hoping for from this war, but that's okay. Our administration is expanded enough to implement 1 for innovation, plus 1 population capacity, 1% population capacity, and plus 1% global monthly food modifier. Very nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab Code of Rights for freeman output plus 3%. An established code detailing the rights of every non-landowning member of our society is likely to please the majority. All right. On we go. Up to Tichit. I'll let the mercs just recover on their own, so we can do an assault up here. I'd rather just do an assault and close things out and get back to peace, which will make the trads happier. Yeah, that's going to be quite necessary. They may also force an investment soon, so if I can get another city built before they force it, that'd be preferable. This goes with grain. I will happily sell it to them. Incidentally, let me check really quick and see. No, that's not the right. It's the other way. We do still have enough slaves here. Okay, good. And down here, we actually have a mine, but we haven't moved the population yet, so I will get to that later. What do we have here? We have a mine here for base metals, that's right. Okay. What about farming? What do I have around here? Right. Not enough slaves here. Not enough slaves there. Not enough slaves. Okay. We'll do some slave micro after the war, I think. Maybe get another copy of metal, or of precious metal to sell off. Alright, we should be starting to hit our food limits right about now. We're coming into the siege with no stores. If we could just take the stores of our sort of sister armies, that'd be better, but not available as an option here. Look at the 7.24 with a mercenary stack and with my entire levy raised. That's pretty good. Also, 6 of 8 now, that's pretty good. That's another round of assimilations that are done. Alright, here we come. What's this? Shrine of Shahided. Interesting. Also, Oratory Advance. Country Civil plus 0.50%. Which means we can now go ahead and grab Granted Manumission. Enabling slave owners to release their slaves with genuine legal status is vital to the continued coexistence of owner and slave. 10% increased pop promotion speed nationwide. Lastly will be religious advances, which we will be getting in a couple of months. Need to control the tile. Okay. All right. Now this may depopulate. I've had pretty good luck with the depopulation so far this episode, but you never know when the luck's going to run out. Do I give it one more tick? I think we can probably just go for it. That was the plan anyways. Come on. Okay. Problem discovered. We are now too weak. I'm gonna fire the mercs. And now we're gonna need to just recover our manpower, which we can do on the tick, and do the rest of the siege manually. Probably could have seen that this could, yeah, these sieges are pretty brutal. It wasn't even the food that was the issue. I should have recovered more manpower first. That was a mistake. Off they go. Let's see what we get on the tick. Oh, we're losing strength. Okay, that's not what I want. Okay, well, I would like you to be my tributary. How would you feel about just doing a white peace? They wouldn't agree to it. And there's no other kind of peace deal I can do without giving them land, which is obviously out of the question. We may have to return to my lands and recover, which we can do fairly quickly, but it's a long walk back. Irritating, because I spent all this effort to get this under siege and assaulted. Okay. Let me leave the horses behind, who are pretty high strength as it is. In fact, let me leave all the horses behind. You are going to return to Esakane and bring... Yeah, okay, the Gen A are coming with you, good. Alright. Actually, is Kolyma closer? I can't quite tell. Kolyma might be closer. Let me go to Kolyma instead. Alright, this horse force, it's like we're looking back in time right now. This horse force will hold the siege down and keep it there in the meantime. We have barbarians? Huh? Who is this? This is a Hotile Sigwick Barb force. I prefer them to not raid me, but I don't really want to pay them, and it's gonna destroy itself in 2 raids, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. That's fine. Yep, that's the barbs down there. Okay. Now, will this force make it back on their march through the desert? We'll see. It's not looking too promising. Yeah, they're gonna attrition themselves as they go, but we have a lot of manpower ready to go. We just need to get them back into land. Lebedano Bolsa died of a heart attack at the age of 83. Alright, there he goes. This was our surprise Atacon last episode, and he saw some nice expansion for the Timbuktu Republic, and of course he ruled alongside his son. Interesting setup. But he has now died, and the Sankara, or I mean the Bolsa family has a new family head. I assume it is in fact Pathanogombe as I expected. Okay. That's too bad. Rest in peace, Labadeado. The first, one of the first sort of notable characters to die so far from old age. I think in terms of who to replace him with, Nana Bolsa, his relative, is pretty good, so let's bring her in. Not quite as good, but she is pretty good. Also, Is that 97 loyalty without free hands? Good golly. Okay. Alright. Our pretty successful wars up here are being kind of deflated by our looming disaster up here with Titchit, but we're going to try our best here. These horses are going to die very, very quickly if we don't get some more food up here soon. Oh boy, yeah, they're completely out of food. Alright, Pataragombe Bulsa is really mad. What's the problem here? Revoked free hands. Well, I can't actually undo that. Oh, he needs to be an officer for me to do that. That's right. I should probably make him a researcher to fix this. I mean, I don't have... Yeah, I don't have any Civil War risk. I could probably leave this alone for now. Prefer... I mean, he's pretty good charisma. Let's see. I could replace Nyambe with Pataragombe. I'm going to lose... Oh, hold on. Let me replace... How good is his marshal? Pataragombe. It's not very good, is the answer. Oh my god, 5. Yeah, that's not going to work. I want to avoid the Bulsas becoming grateful. Let me replace Nana with... Let's see, a Buanu character. Alright, so let's bring in Niyama. And then replace you with Pataragombe. There we go. Cleanly executed. Now that is taken care of. Yeah, I need to I need to be able to build roads soon. This is getting pretty miserable, but we're nearly back. This battered forest returning from the desert. Oh boy. On the plus side, our economy is going crazy right now. We've got such a strong economy right now. Alright. Back in my territory. Reorganize as fast as you can. Perhaps I shouldn't have fired the mercs quite so hastily, but probably wouldn't have made a huge difference. At this point, once we just get the siege going again, we should be able to just close it out manually. Oh my god! Oh, that's really unlucky. Who the hell are you? Alright, you're a Sononike Bedaic. Paying off barbs costs... Oh my god, I can't believe the Senate needs to vote on this. Out of your mind. Should we pay off barbarians coming to destroy our army? Show of hands. Okay. This is really bad timing. Like, this is unbelievable bad timing. I'm not gonna be able to get away in time. They're gonna kill my army. Alright, what are you gonna need? Oh my god. This woman is extorting me like crazy. What is this timing, like, actually? Okay. Please. Okay, good. Yeah, just go the other way. That'll have to do. We're in a bit of a tight spot here militarily, but let's just drain our manpower and run back. Adcon scorned. Need some grammar lessons here in Timbuktu. The elected leaders of Timbuktu, Sanpoko Tilabele, the Shield, and Kondolon Tilabele are meant to act as balances to each other's influence. However, Sanpoko has been frustrated by Kondolon and her constant placement of the oligarch interests above those of the traditionalists. And this is this is much more accurate than the weird event from last episode, because she is an oligarch, and Sanpoko is, of course, a traditionalist, so this makes sense that they're being factional. If Kondolon were to offer some concessions to Sanpoko, however trivial, it would go a long way to alleviating the worst of the resentment. This seems like a pretty good... Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come now, we must work together. I will happily get 10 approval for 10 PI. 48 support. We're nearly looking at Senate approval for the first time this regime. That's pretty good. I will happily take that. Alright, I'm just going to use the rest of my manpower to shore up my forces here. I mean, what's funny is this force is losing strength so quickly, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to get back in time to even, like, make a difference at this rate. Yeah, this entire war is not going so well. The fact they won't agree to a white peace without 10 war score is pretty absurd. Or that the damage I did to their fort doesn't count for the war score. I can't believe I'm thinking about this, but I might need to hire mercs for this. I'm thinking about 2 episodes ago and the way that the trip over here, let me think about this. This is going to be probably about 3 months of, 2 to 3 months of attrition on the way over. We're going to be going in with around 11k, so by the time we get there, this will have suffered another, it says 2% attrition, but I think that's, I think it's actually counting as a bit more. Once we get back, I'm not sure we're going to have enough strength to even keep it at 2k for sieging. I think I do need to hire mercs. If I'm going to do it, I should do it now, before any more time passes. Okay, let's find the smallest, cheapest, I just need, a merc stack that is small and cheap. Anybody, okay, 3k is pretty good. You're not that far away. Alright, let me hire this guy. Let's just do it now. Bring him over. And so what I should do now, wait for this to reach full, and then send them back so I keep the siege going as far as possible. I'll get a tributary from this. That's worthwhile. It's expensive, but this entire... I mean, I didn't plan the war with Titchid. This was a declaration on me, so because this game requires you to have at least 10 war score to even do a white peace, which I think is a little questionable, but it is what it is. I have to work around this war declaration that was forced upon me. Here's our religious advances, by the way. Omen power plus 1%. And the really key part, though, is hypocost. 5% increased monthly PI and plus 3% more national citizen output. The Romans pioneered the creation of underfloor heating. Using a complex systems of flues and furnaces, the hypocost was a rare but prestigious addition to villas and bathhouses. Right, back up above 2 PI per month. That's pretty good. All right, this is enough manpower recovery. Let's go. Also, not very much food recovery either. I've got plenty of food here. I feel like I should get food faster than that. All right, go, go, go. Will I even make it there with 2k total at that point? Remains to be seen. But the mercs are coming in behind to help out. They'll get there eventually. All right, so this war with Titchit was a bit more of a mess, but again, wasn't a war that I planned out or declared. It was a war that was forced upon me. So we're gonna get a tributary from the steel, which is better than nothing. It's better than a white peace for sure. So let's go and get ourselves that tributary. I also spent a lot of money. I also didn't get any prisoners from these deals, which I should remember is something I was waiting to get so I could do a gladiatorial debut with Salma. May not be in the cards. Also, he's ailing now. I guess because he's ailing, he is in prison. Let me go ahead and flog him and speed things up a little bit. This will make his rivals happy. I can flog him multiple times, can't I? Oh. All right. Let's just do a little bit of that. Wow, I didn't realize I could just. Oh, that's. I guess it costs popularity on the shield, but it's only 2 popularity. It's not that bad. Now he's near death. Now we'll just let him die of his own accord. We didn't do anything at all to make that happen. All right. Yeah, I think despite being next to the desert, Timbuktu is not like a desert people. Like, we are out of our element out here in the actual Sahara. We can look at it from our farmland and think that we are one with the desert, but we are not the holders of much desert power at all. Okay, also with Chialabele out of the way and dying in my cell, we have Akoi, Governor of Jene, as the next expected Otacon. This could actually be okay. You may be surprised to hear me think a 0 martial Otacon coming in is a good idea, or is okay. But we would be, well, 4 from Jaruru is not very impressive. This is our former co-Otacon from the first episode, I believe. Am I right about that? I can't remember for sure. I think he has a similar expression to that guy. Kind of a wild expression. Similar hair as well. But either way, Akoi with the 8 finesse would help us have a good economy 5-year period, which I would actually be on board with. Plus with these tributaries now, we're gonna need to recover from what happened. Oh my god, more barbs! How many barbs are there? This is a completely new barb force. Yalunka Sigwick. Okay. I don't want to pay these guys off. They're welcome to just ravage these lands. They're not my core territory at the moment, so I will let them get away with it. If I am able to actually get the siege tick up here and then I win the war without the mercs doing anything, it'll be a little annoying, but, you know, I don't really... Yeah, we're... Oh my god, what? Paid by What are these barb spawns right now? This is just absurd. Okay, this is a bit more of a problem. I'm going to win this fight, but I'll be... How is this going to work exactly? Who's defending and who's attacking? I think I'll probably be defending, because they're paid by Idjil, which is not these guys. Idjil is up here. I may have to pay these guys off, though, which is going to be more tyranny, and it's 52 gold. Okay, here's the thing. If I didn't hire the mercs, I would pay these guys off. But with the mercs being hired, when did these guys arrive? 14th of November. We'll be here already, and they live by 9 marshal. The game thinks we're going to win. With the mercs coming in, we're for sure going to win. We just need a single force under the shield to remain. Like a single man remaining would take over the merc stack. So this is pretty grim, but we're going to just about get away with this. Yeah, this is so complicated. Definitely makes me wish I was playing in a slightly more lush and attrition-free area. All right, we are now technically back above 2k just for a second. I guess I could try to do an assault for the next 3 days. I might actually win the assault in the next 3 days, but them arriving as I'm assaulting would be... Yeah, I guess I didn't think about this. I could do an assault for the brief moment I have above 2k. I guess the question is, I already hired the mercs. If the assault... So here's the question. If the assault fails, because let's put aside trying to min-max thinking about the merc hire, because that happened already. I do the assault, and if it doesn't succeed, because the assault is a day-by-day tick, so if it doesn't succeed within 3 days, then the battle begins. I don't know exactly what would happen then, because it's a third-party hostile barb force coming in. I don't know if they arrive while I'm assaulting, does it stop the assault to start a battle with the barbs? If I'm 3 days into an assault, I probably still win, but it's not a clear thing. But if I win the assault within 3 days, then I'm defending, which wouldn't really make a huge difference. I may already be defending because it's a little hard to tell. Alternatively, I pay off the barbs to ensure that I can either get the assault or safely wait for my mercs to... Actually, it's not moving. For my mercs to come. But the mercs are going to take another, 2 to 3 months to arrive through the desert route. But once they get here, I 100% for sure win. So is there any reason why doing an assault right now isn't a good idea? Because the mercs are on the way. The mercs are going to win the war for me either way. And they can also kill the barbs. So say, for example, I start the assault, and then I don't finish the assault. I'm interrupted by Maria's mercenaries coming in. I think I do. I'm genuinely not sure what's going to happen here. I only have about 1,200 men to do the assault, but let's squeeze it in and see. Okay. The battle began, but the assault is actually still going. The assault has been paused. It's good to figure out. This is such an unusual circumstance. This is a good moment to test to see what happens. But when the battle finishes, will the assault be... Okay, battle's done. Okay, that was very, very weird, but let me explain what just happened there. The interface was a little glitchy because this is such an unusual circumstance, but because I began the assault and then a hostile third-person army came in, not associated with the territory holder. They paused my assault, but they didn't end the assault, which is really important, because if the assault had ended, I'd go below 2k, and I would not be able to re-attempt the assault, because I wouldn't be keeping the province under siege enough to do an assault. So, sacking of Titchit, this was very complicated, but the point is I don't need the mercs anymore. Unless I want to do another war with my survivors, which I don't think I have the strength for. So, these mercs were a bit of a panic hire, but I think it was the right call to make at the time. but I just barely got away with that, and it was way closer than I could have anticipated. So we did waste about 100 gold and maybe a couple months of income on the mercs. It's okay. Sampoku Tilabeli, the shield, has led our men to glorious victory during the siege of Tichit. The enemy flee in disgrace, and all that is left is to decide on the... Oh my god, wait. Huh? What the hell? I took it directly? What? Okay. Okay, I need another 100 coffees for this one. Okay, new mystery discovered. I've taken this directly, and I don't know how I did that. The enemy flee in disgrace. Huh? Okay, this... One thing at a time here. Needless to say, the spoils of war linked to cause us back in Timbuktu to admire Sampoku greatly. But leaving such wealth in the hands of one woman could cause problems in the future. Gentle looting. Okay, I don't know how I just did that. I conquered them automatically? Imprison their leaders, I suppose. This is very weird. If I had to guess what happened here, because they had one population, I don't know how that would matter though. I'm genuinely flabbergasted. This is pretty unusual. This is actually a really good glitch for me though, because I now have a territory in the Sahara Occidentalis region when I didn't expect I'd be allowed to get territory up here. Now, is there, hold on. Do I have a control range map mode? I don't think I have a control range map mode. Naval range is... No, that's not going to work. Diplomacy. I can reach more people now, which means, hold on. One thing at a time. Oh my god! I can reach the Mediterranean. No one has anything to sell to me, but I can reach the Levantines now. Oh, hold on. Fish from Tinkatane. Ah! Oh my gosh. Trade! I have trade! Okay. This weird, like, instant capture here, I don't know if the Barb, like, fight contributed to this happening. This is a very strange glitch, and as I was talking about earlier in the episode, I was making plans already to make these guys a tributary, although them being a tributary might have been better in terms of the economic benefit of the tile. This is going, like, as you can see, map modes, I now am reaching the entire, first of all, I'm reaching all the tribes in the Sahara, which is great, but I'm also reaching the southern edges of Iberia, and I'm reaching, diplomatic range-wise, the northwestern corners of North Africa. So this is actually a pretty huge development, and I'm still not really sure how this happened. If I had to guess, something about the assault being interrupted by the Barb fight caused them with their one population, maybe because they were the like the war declarant, so them like giving up the tile automatically is not how that was meant to work. So I don't know how this happened, but this is a glitch that benefits me enormously. So, and these guys are very mad. 2.28 per month reduction. Oh my god. Okay, so the shrine here is not of my gods. Let's remember that this is... I wasn't really planning to, like, conquer my way out into this region, right? I mean, not this far, once I knew that I couldn't do it there, but this is megalithic. But the shrine does provide some tile bonuses, so it's not the end of the world to have this here. Although, I'd prefer to convert this place. And this is not a very strong tile anyways. It's desert. Yeah, before I lower my forces, let me go ahead and desecrate the shrine. This will upset the local population. They're already mad anyways, so let me just do it. Destruction of the shrine of Shaheded. The shrine of Shaheded in Tichit has been sacked by our valiant troops. As the shrine is laid to ashes, the soldiers loot the city itself. Okay, let's not do that too much. Alright, they survive. That's all that matters. Okay, this is very strange, but I will... I will... oh, you know what? Hold on. Can I... Oh, no, I can't. I can't reach people to move population in. Or hold on, wait, no. I can... No, I can't. I need to do it from the tile. I thought I might be able to move slaves in and get moving that way, but not going to quite work like that. Okay, extremely strange. And I'm going to keep this shrine here for now so that no one else builds it somewhere else, because I want to build it myself somewhere later. Okay. I'm so disoriented by this weird thing that happened. Lower the levies. Sahara Occidentalis now needs a governor. That's fine. Who do I want to make the governor? I need someone with big... Oh my god, big finesse indeed. Fanta Tielabele, look at this. She's a young character, so she wasn't available as an officer before, but look, 12 finesse. I never see 12 finesse in my campaigns. Oh my god. Now she's extremely corrupt, not great, and making her the governor could cause problems, but 12 finesse is crazy. What I should really do is make her the finesse researcher, where her corruption won't be a problem. Or it will be less of a problem, at least. Yeah, this will upset Wati, but he can just deal with it. I'm not passing up 12 finesse. That's crazy. Okay. Having done that, let's also go ahead and lower army maintenance. This will recalculate, I hope. Oh, wait. Let me fire the mercs as well. Unless, do I keep them? No, I don't keep these mercs for anything. They're gone. Alright, 7.63. That's good. Okay. This being a fort makes sense, because it's my outermost outpost now in the Sahara, but it will be expensive to maintain this fort. But I think it's probably worth it to keep this as a fort for now. Is there any better terrain out here? What do we have here? We've got leather, salt, horses, salt. Probably Wadon is the best tile in this area. Let's see. Actually, this is its own province, so yeah, this will be staying the provincial capital for a while, or possibly forever. Okay, extremely strange series of events, but I got myself a tile in the Sahara unexpectedly, so I will take that. Okay, as for who to put here, a Sawadi character would keep more grateful families from popping up, which could be good. But Badi Sankara looks pretty good as well. High loyalty as well. Weak-willed. That's good. No corruption problems at all. Reduces fort defense. Increases pop growth. Okay. Let me assign him. Democrats won't like another grateful family. How much won't they like it? Oh, we're having Democrat problems. That's all my tyranny. They're mad about the tyranny. Can't do much about this. They're also gaining control again. All right, we have to scale back on our gratefulness here, which means let's assign Kilia Sawadi. She's selfish, not great, but she's also honest, so less corruption problems. Okay. Oh my god, still? Jeez. That's pretty brutal. Tishit is furious. Oh, because it's a noble, yeah. 0%. Alright, maybe give it the tick, see what we can do here. This might be a lost cause. Do I spend to put it on to harsh treatment? I think I probably do. Honestly, social mobility might be more important. I need this noble demoted immediately. Let me wait for the tick and see how bad it's going to be. Actually, you know, I'm not going to even wait for the tick. I need to... Well, hold on. I can't tell the demotion speed without... Yeah, let me wait for the tick so I get a demotion speed so I can gauge things. Alright. Do I have any other territories with import routes? No. I didn't think so. Alright. 45 months until the Titchit Rebellion. Not great. In fairness, I don't know. Maybe they're confused why I took this territory from them as well. This is very unusual. Okay. Strange business all around. How's my city going, by the way? We're looking at May of next year. Also, I should now be... Yeah, I did run out of Divine Sacrifice. I may want to do Invoke Devodio to get more exhaustion reduction. This should actually speed up soon, hopefully. I hope. We shall see. I should also have a military experience level up coming soon. Alright, what are we looking at now? Still pretty bad. Where's my demotion? I need beginning demotion here. Harsh treatment would help, but it wouldn't really... Like, it's 1/10 the value it needs to be. Will it demote? I don't know why it's not demoting. It should be demoting. This is just... This is very strange. I can't even put on social mobility to see if it will start demoting. Alright. Let me go for harsh treatment. I need to slow this down. Alright, that does help a little bit. Until I see demotion there, I'm not going to bother changing it to that. Okay. With that done... let's hold off on any more diplomatic actions. All these barbs spawned at the same time because the timer ran out. At the same time everywhere. And they're coming back. Oh no. Please. I already paid you off. You make me pay them off again. How much? They're just going to go back and forth. I'm not going to pay them off. I'm just going to leave them there. They're going to die of attrition in the desert eventually, and it's not like Titchit's going to be, like, happier without the barbs there. Not really. Okay, now we're seeing some demotion. Okay, 9.8% is pretty fast. Harsh treatment does help with demotion, actually. Oh, you know what? I did not notice that before. 90% from harsh treatment, and then... So, social mobility would be faster, but demotion's only one part of the puzzle here. What really matters is the loyalty, which demotion helps with. So, I think harsh treatment is the better option of the two, even though social mobility would be more demotion. That difference of like 40% demotion between the two is not as important as the other modifiers from harsh treatment. So, let's leave it at that. Okay. See here. Got food problems up here. It's because it's under siege. We wouldn't have food problems otherwise. That's fine. Alright, this has been a bit of a messy couple of years here, but we secured some lucrative tributaries and a surprise bit of territory in the Sahara. A little ahead of... Are these barbs gaining in strength? This is the opposite day situation. Alright, I will have to deal with the barbs. I can deal with them completely easily once I raise my levy, which will be a year and 5 months from now. Titchit will just have to deal with it. They have enough food to survive that long, I think. Alright. We kind of blew through our treasury to pull off these crazy wars, but we secured some tributaries on the north of our region and a foothold in a new region a little unexpectedly. Would have probably preferred it as a tributary, but this does open doors to the very corner of the Mediterranean, which might be more valuable than any amount of tributary money, to be completely honest. This is going to be a campaign about crawling our way through this miserable desert to get to the lucrative markets up there for my commerce economy, so any door that I can open is a good door to open. Even if I opened it in a bit of a strange way, I will take it. Salma Bailey died while escaping from incarceration. Okay, at least he went out trying to do something interesting. That is too bad. I mean, he says as if he didn't, as if I didn't cause his death by flogging him 20 times. Okay, this does remind me I do have prisoners to deal with as well. Let's go ahead and attend to that first. All right. Tyranny is a problem, but money is very cool, and I would like to have some of it, please. Let's just do a little bit of this. Only one set, so it's not too much tyranny. You. Very good. Okay. With Cielabelli, or with Salma Cielabelli dead, oligarchs are now firmly led by Arabunu, who hopefully doesn't know about our close involvement in his predecessor and likely mentor's untimely passing. I guess it's timely if I caused it, which I sort of did. But either way, Wati Cielabelli is now the expected next Otacon, 07127. This would be okay for the economy, but really good for the tyranny loss, which might be a priority next time. This guy would be coming in and bringing in some slightly better finesse and zeal for the national modifiers. I'm actually okay with this pairing. This would be a traditionalist staying in power and another trad coming in. This will make the trads stronger and happier, which is probably good to focus on right now. So I think I'll let this, yeah, this is the party leader for the trads. I'll probably not interfere with this particular election. I need to, like, after my expensive expansion northward, I need to focus on trying to consolidate what I have so far right now. Veterans move on. The prime farmland granted to veterans of battle is a simple recognition of their service to Timbuktu. Sometimes, however, the lure of battle and glory can prove too much for these unaccustomed to a life of menial labor. A recent bad winter caused those working the fields to up and leave, hoping to find better work in our armies, leaving a vast tract of arable land unclaimed. We have reappropriated it to better serve our flourishing state. To every cloud. That's pretty good. Is this the Timbuktu tile? I think it is. It is, okay. That's still pretty good. Also some manpower. I will happily take that. Yeah, Timbuktu is looking pretty good right now. Still at my building cap, but I will be getting this city complete in the near future. All right, there go the barbs. All right, is my land finally free from barbarians? Just about, yeah. All right, that was a pretty tough couple of years here, but we have secured some lucrative tributaries and, again, some lucrative door-opening territories in the north. Now, I guess... Okay, so the uninhabitable passable terrain doesn't count for control distance, as we see here. I don't actually know how I'm going to be expanding through the Sahara routes if I can't fabricate like this. Because I directly control this territory here. So... I may have to rely on a mission to give me range, or rely on them declaring on me and then I take their territory. That might be what I have to do, sort of like what I did with Titchit. So I may have to do some insulting, which is kind of fun, to upset these guys and get them to declare on me. We'll see. I'm not going to do that right now, obviously. Slow and steady wins the race, and there's a lot of distance to go when it comes to moving through the Sahara. We're dipping our toes in, but we're not plunging in quite yet. No need to be hasty, that's for sure. This does improve my slave output, so this is helping my economy a fair bit, but obviously it has some downsides. Coming of the city of Gondam, speaking of upsides though, our extension of new privileges and investments in the local infrastructure have seen Gondam grow from relative humility into a true Sonanike city. While it still has some way to go before it can rival the great cities of our age, the past 2 years have ushered in a new era of growth and urbanization in this territory. These are the best of times. It's now a dyes producer, which is replacing its sheep production. That's pretty good. Double dyes. Oof. Say it ain't so. Okay. Now, the actual city doesn't look too impressive, but it will grow given time. As for what I want here, probably no buildings at the moment. We are expecting a trad to come in so we can keep the... Actually, that's an oligarch modifier, so never mind. Ignore what I was about to say. It was incorrect. Okay, Timbuktu is doing very well, though, population-wise. Alright. Now I'm just waiting for the 50 PI, as I do want to advance my mission sooner or later. At this point, getting more claims will probably have to mostly be through missions, so let's get get these cities constructed and be able to advance that. I would also like to get more stability, but I think the missions thing is going to be a bit more important. Let's trade with Nyara, actually. That's probably a good idea. Boost up their economy. What's our cap now? 3.7. That's pretty good. All right. The Reign of the Shield has been pretty interesting. We've seen some near disasters in the desert, but ultimately these wars were successful, and we have discovered a way to move through the Sahara to access those northern markets. Something I talked about last episode as being pretty important to figure out. So I'm happy with that. All right. I could save a lot of money by reducing wages, but I want to keep corruption under control as best I can. She is expensive, but that's what it is. Should be getting a, I think it's 80 where you get your first tradition. Yes, 80. Did I look at these? I think I looked at these in the first episode. There's a couple good ones further down, especially. Let's go to speed 4. We're just coasting along. More barbs. Where on earth is this? Quinque Gentiania. 4K. Oh my god. Alright. Bozo Sigowix? Come on in. Spread more tribesmen. I'll take that. Yeah, any Bozo barb stacks are welcome to settle in my land and add more population to my territories. I'll happily take that. You get no resistance from me. Welcome aboard, honestly. This will have to be next episode at this rate. No, what am I talking about? This will be... What's with the years? Oh yeah, because of the... that's right. Because of the change I made, that's right. So we're looking at about half a year to go. Will they get there in time? Maybe. This might be the last thing that happens in the episode is the relief of Tichet. Not that they are going to feel too much relief. Okay, this is looking a lot better. I think the... Yeah, this guy demoted to a citizen. You can see, by the way, just how crazy the difference is between a noble and a citizen in a situation like this. That's like a value of 0.2 per month or something. That was reduced, and that they're demoting even further to a freeman. Oh my god, that's 14% demotion. That's crazy. All right, so this is now completely fine. Well, not fine, but it's now under control. So that is going to work. Have they actually assaulted? Did you see that? The barbs were assaulting. I don't see the AI doing assaults that often, so that's kind of interesting. I would prefer they not assault and lose all their own strength, but it is what it is. All right. We've got 1 year to go. War exhaustion's almost at 0. We have no AE left. Stability's still pretty high. Any new trade routes we can reach? No. Okay. Economy is looking really good. PI is nearly at 50, which means a city in Tiabu. As remember, the goal, even though Tiabu is not the best city location in the universe, compared to some alternatives I've looked at, we really want to get settled Timbuktu, which means waiting for Tiabu to finish, so it's not going to be happening this episode. But Tiabu is farmland, it's on the river. It is right next to Timbuktu, but I have a lot of great tiles to work with. Again, Houndu is a better location strategically, but Tiabu is required for the mission, or a tile like Tiabu that's in this province is required for the mission. Probably if I wanted to be super good on spacing, I'd put a city down here somewhere, but Dia is a much better spot down here, and it controls this area pretty well. So Tiabu is the tile for these purposes. So let's give it 2 more ticks, then we'll be getting a city going in Tiabu. That'll be a lot of our money used up for that as well. This is actually pretty good for the oratory-oriented Lati and Akoi coming in with their 12 oratory, 12 charisma, to give us a nice 5-year period of recovery after this kind of brutal desert warfare regime. under the women. Alright, actually, we rounded up to 50. That was a hefty roundup right there. Look at that. Okay, let's get a city going in Tiabu. Let's replace the grain. That's fine. Alright, there it goes. Alright, that's fine as well. Okay. No upsets at the last minute. If someone comes in with higher martial, I wouldn't be upset, so I'd get better manpower recovery, but if I'm not in wartime, I don't need, like, manpower, or I mean, morale recovery, unless I'm actually fighting someone. Now, someone could attack me, including potentially these tribes out here, which would be good. I'd have to rely on a weaker army without a good martial leader, and possibly mercs as well to supplement, but that would be a feasible way to do it. Alright. Nearly at 50 Senate support. With the Trads gaining 2 Archons, they're likely going to increase their control even further. I guess we'll see what happens. Trying to predict what they're going to do is often a little inconsistent. Alright, how are we looking now? Still at 7. I'd prefer to see 8, but 7 is fine. Barbs are also dying to attrition finally, so that's good. I guess... Do I send the army? I guess I probably should send the army to go kill the Barbs. They're not dying to attrition very, very consistently, and this place will start to have food problems eventually. And I mean, I'd rather do it under the 8 Marshal for St. Poco than the 0 Marshal coming in. Oh, hold on. Kaba Suwari with 8. Oh, this is by Magistrate. This is another trad. 8, 4, 10, 8. I'd actually kind of prefer this guy to be the main Otacon, but I don't think I have time to make that kind of change. The trads are all voting for Wati, and they only partially support Kaba. What's the reason? Probably because Wati's the party leader. Neither of them are family heads, but Wati has more sway because he's in charge of the whole faction. This is fine. This is going to give me that martial that I was looking for, and also a bit more zeal too. Yeah, this is actually a pretty... 10 charisma on this guy is really good too. I'm happy with this. Go to regular maintenance. Alright, raise the army in Lima. Go, go, go. Fast as you can. It's gonna take them a while, but best thing we can do. I could probably raise morale as they're going through the desert, honestly, but it is what it is. Right, here we come. This should be a fairly easy cleanup, and then maybe... Can I do Anabasis as a republic? I don't think so. No, it doesn't look like it. We'll see if I can do any actions up here. Probably not. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I wish I could do Anabasis as a republic. That'd be pretty cool. Being led by the Otacon, you should be able to do something like Anabasis, I think. That'd be neat. Oh my god, more? What do we have here? Gur Sigwix? What is Gur? It's a Hellion. That's my culture group. Oh, it's down here, oddly enough. This is more of my core territory. I'm going to pay these guys off, unfortunately. They're not that expensive for a force this large. Go bother the Songhai people. Right, these guys are on their way. I wouldn't even have like a reliably strong enough force to fight them if they didn't leave. Arabi Isawagan died of stress. That's a little bit more surprising, but I guess these things do happen. I don't think he was in any positions of power. Who's the new Isawagan family head? Need to keep track of this stuff. Okay, looks like Fadiga Isawagan, who's a character I've not really interacted with so far, is the new family head. He's okay stat-wise, but not too impressive otherwise. We'll see if he becomes an important character later. Right, here we come for the battle. Let's go down to speed 3. This should be just a stack wipe. There it is. All right, now that we're here, anything I need to do here? Not really. I guess the last question would be, do I take any actions while I'm up here? I don't really think so. The game says no, that's not right. It showed before when I had the PI that I couldn't do it, even though it says I'm allowed to if I have the right Senate support. So I think it's just trying to troll me. Let's go ahead and lower the army. All right. Only 4 months until I can re-raise them anyways. So that's fine. How much is it to do a holy site? Yeah. 300 gold and 50 PI. Where are these guys going? I thought these guys would go east to attack the Songhai. Are they going into the desert? These are some intrepid barbs. Not really sure what they're doing, but they're not allowed to attack me because I paid them off, so... Unless someone else pays them off and it, like, overrides what I did. Ooh, I can colonize this. From where? Kaga. Oh, because of the slaves, right. Okay, I do want to colonize this. This is, even though I probably won't keep the mission around in time to get this, I do want to expand this direction. This will also give me some base metals, and it's also, same religion, same culture group. So let's colonize this. Very nice. Alright, we've expanded, technically. Alright, looks like the Wati Kaba regime looks pretty certain. Let's go down to speed 2 for the last little bit here. Any more trade goods? No. But we are able to reach people. No one has any surplus for me, but we can reach them now, which is great. Once we get dip range modifiers, it's going to make things even better as well. That's pretty good. Alright, yeah, we definitely need a period of recovery after my very aggressive opening couple of 5-year periods. Right at the end of the time of the shield, what do we have here? Okay, engineer cost might be the least important modifier I could give myself, but it does open the way to more import routes. This is a pretty small modifier, honestly. This is pretty good though. 15% fort maintenance reduction. Whew. All right, that makes this look like a lot more of a good idea. Omen power. Okay, some of these are kind of crazy. Omen power 50% is really good. Legion maintenance cost is great. Ooh. Okay, this requires me to have Egyptian influence, but Found City cost modifier is crazy, and Levantine tradition groups is good. General bonuses, okay. Light infantry cost will only matter for legions. Light cav morale, I have a lot of light cav. 10% national manpower is really good. List of generals is fine. How about over here? Desert combat, I could see reasons this might be good in the future. Army movement and supply... The army movement speed's actually pretty important given how large these distances are, so this might be pretty good, honestly. And supply train costs for when I have legions. Army attrition, minus 15%. This might be the winner, honestly. But let's see. Light infantry morale is really good. Unintegrated culture happiness plus 6%. Okay. I'm also, I think, likelier to get North African traditions sooner than the other one. Army attrition 15% feels like it's the strongest option. But getting to fort maintenance would be amazing, because I have a lot of fort maintenance. Well, maybe not, honestly. I don't have a lot of forts right now, but I will over time. I think getting army attrition is probably most important of all. We've seen our armies just wither and collapse with attrition in the desert especially. So let's grab an unending open sky for army attrition minus 15%. Pretty good stuff right there. Economy is looking strong. All right. Good, good, good. We're at plus 0.09 up here. Oh my god, you have worked some miracles up here. Wow, okay. Still can't move anyone up here, probably because I don't control territory opposite the uninhabitable desert, but I am fine with that. And we are now just about in the support range, so I think it displays as us being positive, but we're actually gonna need 51, I believe. Okay. January 1st, 170. Wati Tielabele was elected to office and now rules our glorious nation. 07-12-7. Trads remain in control, 10% omen power. Senate has lost a little bit of support, but it will probably even things out. Let me take a quick peek and see how things are looking. Okay. Things are pretty much where they were. And the next expected election is, by the way, Sigiri Suwari, whose family has obviously been quite powerful recently, and Jeru Tielabele trying again to get that co-Atakanship election. But the key thing, 13 charisma. Did he gain one more charisma? I think he may have gained a bit of charisma when I wasn't looking. He's also a lunatic. Interesting. But that is a lot of tyranny loss. Anyways, we're going to see exactly what we're looking at with our new Atacons and the beginning of the second decade of hold on, no. We're now 20 years after the campaign began. There we go. And we'll see exactly what we're looking at in the next episode. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.